you were still talking about having to get like a white lawyer, so you can carry on from there.
So he then advised me I have to get white advocates, and it has to be advocate because I said, but can't you just handle it for me? Because he usually handles everything for me. And he said, no, these are advocates. I'm just a lawyer. So you have to get advocates, and you have to get white advocates so you can be white on white. Then I was like, okay, but then where would I even begin to? I barely know lawyers. Where would I get advocates? Where would I get one? Do I search for one? What do I do? Then he said, don't worry, my sister. I will help you. I'll get you advocates. I know a few people. I'll ask around. A couple of days passed and came to me with, can I say?
Yeah.
Advocate, right? And I was very happy that he got me advocate, and he says that, and they were the ones communicating.
Okay.
What he would do is send me screenshots of their conversation, then I would respond, then he would tell the advocate, and then he sent me a screenshot with, where they were conversating about me having to pay a 14,500 for appearance and for him to have a look at the case, and transportation because they had to travel from I don't know where, but he is in Pretoria, everything's happening in Pretoria, but I had to pay all these money, the 14,500. I was like, oh, okay, it's not a problem. And really it wasn't a problem. I had money at the time. So then I transferred the 14,500. And a couple of days passed, and he said they went. He then says that they're gonna have to appear in court, and they'll go head to head with the company that I used to work for, and he'll be there with his team, and everything is good. And then he sent me an amount. He says that the advocate has said that I have to pay 146,680, and I did just that. I was very shocked at the amount.
Okay. Look, it is just unfortunate that a lot of us, as in the community, don't know much about the law.
Yeah.
It is. But I would advise, before I get into your personal issue, I would advise that firstly, when you go and solicit an attorney or legal services, firstly make sure that the people that you're dealing with are authentic. And then how did I say? You can
LPC.
call the LPC and just find out. And then it doesn't kill, even if you have a lawyer, to ask around still from other people.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that the processes that he explains to you is the appropriate process. Firstly. Now, when someone sues, let's be specific about the case. When someone wants to sue you, firstly you must be served with papers. It's either you are served with what we call an application, or you are served with summonses. And then who serves you is what we call a sheriff. A sheriff of the High Court of South Africa will come to your house. If he does not have your house's address, he'll come to your place of work and says, he comes and identifies himself and even shows you a card. I'm a sheriff of the High Court for Midrand. I have summonses for you, and then gives you a copy, wants you to sign off that you have received a copy. And it explains what those papers. This is a summons. You are allowed to defend the matter if you want to defend it. You must defend it within this certain period, within 10 days, within 20 days. And then obviously it means you must go look for a lawyer because you can't defend yourself, you don't know much. So then it says you must go look for a lawyer, and then so that's the first part. So you can never have a process where you haven't been served.
So if you've paid an attorney to open up a file, and then it stops like, can you request for him to send you the information?
It's yours.
Oh, okay. And if they
The entire, then we can take it up with the LPC. And then that is an offense for, it's your file. Even if you say you want to change lawyers because I'm no longer happy with you, he must give you the entire file. It's yours. And then you take the file and go to a new lawyer and says, my previous lawyer is Leslie Dwaba. I was not happy with her. I want you to represent me. Take this. Then the lawyer continues. He doesn't have to start afresh. It continues from where this one ended. So you can always go back and look and say, no, this guy did the right processes, or no, he didn't do the right processes. And then he continues. So it is your file. As long as you've paid for it, each and every page and file in there is yours.
Marasine, in this instance, when you didn't pay your lawyer, you paid
A candidate.
right at this point, right?
Did you pay the advocate directly or through that candidate attorney?
No, that advocate directly.
The candidate attorney sent me the account number,
Which is different.
which that he said is for the advocate.
Yes.
So in the screenshot, right, of their conversations, the account details were sent to him. So he sent me the screenshot. I took those account details. I went to Capitec and I went to deposit the money.
Let me tell you now, because I'm an advocate. As an advocate, my client is not you. My client is an attorney. So if the attorney comes and says, your matter needs the services of an advocate, and then because we know better, I can recommend an advocate who deals with this type of work, because you don't know anyone. And then an attorney will come and says, Advocate Ramarumo, this is a new matter. Are you happy? Client wants us to, and then I say, it's fine. What is your rate? And then I tell the attorney, my rate is this amount of money, and then he comes back to you. The advocate says his rate is this amount of money. Are you happy with the amount? And then you say, no, it's fine. Fine.
So sine natopatela the candidate attorney and the candidate attorney
Must pay the
apatela the advocate.
So what will happen is that then, me as an advocate, when I do the matter, I must see my client. I'm going to say, let's consult with the client. So next week Friday, are you all available? Yes, come to my chambers. Sine will come with the candidate attorney, and the advocate will be there, and then we sit down and says, okay, this is your new advocates, and then you know each other, and then what is the matter about? And then you explain again, this is my matter, and then he takes notes, and he says, because you are not allowed to talk to the advocate directly. So we will talk about everything, the information that I'm needing, and then if I need more information, I talk to my attorney. My attorney will talk to you to get the information. You'll get the information to your attorney. The attorney then gives it to me. But you will have consulted with me. You know me. You know where my chambers are. And then even if when I write correspondences, then I write it. Then they can forward the correspondences to you. So what will happen when I have done whatever that I've done? I write an invoice. I send it to my attorney and says, for the last month I consulted, I drafted, I appeared in court, and this. The total amount is 50,000, and then I send it to my attorney. My attorney looks at it, and then if he's happy with it, sends it to you and says, yes, an invoice from Advocate Ramarumo. And then you look at the items. You must also agree with what I've done. You see, okay, we've consulted on this day. Yes, I remember we consulted for an hour, and then I've drafted these documents. You know that there was drafting that was done, because when you draft, for example, affidavits, he must send it to you, you must read it, and you must sign it, you must have it commissioned. So these things have been happening.
So, Sine, have you been signing any documents? Like, were there any documents that were coming to you between the advocate and...
No, because the candidate attorney told me that if I can sign over power of attorney to him, I won't need to come to Pretoria. I won't need to sign. I won't need to go to meetings. He'll do that on my behalf as power of attorney. So all those processes of going to his chambers or talking to him over the phone or emails, it was, for me, I was told that sign power of attorney, I'll handle everything.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now we know that that document you signed doesn't mean anything because he wasn't in the position to write.
Yeah.
So, which then means even the issue this other advocate can't hold water.
Because, okay, if the advocate is an advocate in the first place, let's start there.
Yeah.
Because you can do the same thing. If you are not sure whether I'm an advocate, you can take your number for the LPC. Advocate Ramarumo, does he exist? Then you'll check on the system. Yes, where is he? He's based in Pretoria, and then okay, and all those things. Then you can confirm, okay, indeed he. You see, and then if maybe you want to inquire, indeed, if you are suspicious that the candidate attorney is not telling the truth, excuse me, and then you have the advocate's phone numbers, you can phone and inquire. Unless if the advocate and the candidate attorney were working in cahoots.
Yeah.
Because if they're working in cahoots, then you phone him, he'll confirm everything because that's the plan.
Because I mean, I think it's interesting for me when you try and find this advocate, they don't exist. You can't find
and
them.
as I said, it's simple. You just do as when you're looking for an attorney, you do the same thing.
No,
you find him out at the LPC.
Yeah, they're no. I mean, I look at even this letter that they sent Sine to pay. I mean, the person that signed this, I think, actually works for the LPC as a just an admin person, not necessarily a lawyer. And like the letter in itself, it's like it's not a real letter. Like it's dodgy. The entire thing, like we contacted the school, where they're apparently suing her. They're like, first off, we don't even have international contracts. So this letter can't be real. The software company's like, we are a software company for South Africa, in South Africa.
Yeah.
We've never had any. So you already know this letter is fake. And then I don't know who Sine paid personally, because it's just not making sense.
Yeah.
And when we contacted this candidate attorney, like, I actually don't know anything about that.
He says that.
Yeah, he says, I actually don't know.
Is he still a candidate attorney now?
No,
He's practicing.
Now he's practicing.
now.
Okay. So,
So in this instance, what would Sine need to do? Because-
that's what I'm thinking. Solutions. I told you that all attorneys and advocates must be registered with the Legal Practice Council. And one of the reasons is regulation. They regulate the conduct of its members. So if one of their members, an attorney or an advocate, has committed a misconduct, they will investigate, and then they will, if there is enough, they will convene a disciplinary inquiry, and then he will be hauled before disciplinary inquiry, and then if he's found guilty, then there will be a penalty. A penalty is different. It might be payment of a fine, and a lot of other things. If ever it is a serious transgression, you can go to the High Court to have him suspended for a period of time, or even struck off the roll as an attorney. Now, where monies have been dispersed and monies have been stolen by an attorney or a candidate attorney or an advocate, we have an indemnity. It's an indemnity insurance fund where all of us contribute towards it, where people have misplaced or misappropriated monies. The indemnity fund will pay back the aggrieved.
But you obviously have to
you
provide.
have to lodge a claim. Yes. So what you need to do is you have to contact the Legal Practice Council and say to them, this is the person that I was dealing with, and then give them the full story, the year, the name of the practice, and everything else. Then they will investigate. They'll write him a letter for him to comment. He'll write back, and then if we have given them enough evidence for them to start instituting an investigation and a disciplinary inquiry, they'll do that part.
So what kind of evidence do you think she would need to start putting together?
All the documents that are at her disposal, or if they still has those WhatsApp messages that she hasn't deleted, you know, all of the. I was dealing with the matter. Obviously, I won't mention names. I was dealing with the matter. I think about last month. I was in Grahamstown. Same matter. Our opponent gave an impression that he was an attorney, but when we digged deeper, we found that he was an attorney before he was struck off the role, but he was practicing. He continued to practice as an attorney, and then he was chowing people's money, and then I think he didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
Now, because he was struck off, he was just getting money, you know, and then people were paying him because he
What's happened?
he was wearing a suit and a tie, and then he smelled good, and then he did have an office, and people came in there, but he was not an attorney. So there is recourse. There is recourse where you can prove all of the amounts that you've paid for services that were not rendered. The indemnity fund will have to pay back, and then they will sue him.
So there's a strong chance Sine might get her money back from the indemnity fund.
No. If you have all the proof to show money came from your bank account to these people,
Yes,
and then it's 100% likely that you'll get your money back.
Oh,
all of it.
wonderful!
Yes.
I'm so happy about that.
I'm happy about that too.
Yes. So, but like, advocate, like, I just want to understand, like, the boundaries in terms, like, I don't mean to cut your story short because I know we were talking about the part, right? But when you start getting into, when you're being advised into business ventures, like, my thought would have been, as a lawyer, you are here for advisory for legal matters. But can you get involved in, I don't know, chicken businesses and things like
that? Go to someone who's an expert in a particular field.
Yeah.
For you to get expert advice.
Yeah.
I might know a little bit about financial markets, but I'm not an expert in financial markets.
Yeah.
You can't come to me and says, which is the best company for me to invest in. I might tell you some company that I am personally investing it, and then because I'm getting good returns. But it's not necessarily the best advice because my information is limited to what I have also been told by a financial advisor somewhere else. So you can't come to me and say, I have a pain here. Do you think it's is it an appendix? You see, and I said like, oh yeah, your pain looks like the one that I had, and then I had an appendix. I got it removed. Go and get it. You understand?
Yeah.
We might know a little bit of this and that, but I am not an expert in finance. I'm not an expert in accounting. I'm not an expert in engineering or anything else. So if you have a medical problems, go to a doctor. If you have a financial problem or information that you need, go to an accredited financial stockbroker, all those people.
Yeah.
So I understand her. She became vulnerable because this person, people use charm. You cannot advise against charm. It is just that sometimes when your inner voice, when something just tells you,
if something so dizzy,
yes, like,
just know.
I have some doubt.
Yeah.
Act on it.
Yeah.
Act on it and says, okay, my brother, I trust you, but it's fine. Let me come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then go and get advice from someone else who knows better and says, is it this how it really happens? But with lawyers, generally for people who are watching, don't go to lawyers for financial advices. Don't go to lawyers for possible investment somewhere else.
Yeah.
He is there to give you legal advice. It is for you, after you have got that contract, you can go back to him and say, they've given me this contract. Can I sign it now? Is it all? And then you can go and read it and says, it is well, sign it, my sister. But for him to say, no, I have a business on the side. Me and my friend are doing something else. It is actually not allowed because your services as a legal practitioner is for legal services. It ends there. But if it is something personal, out of that, and then you meet at a mall on a Saturday and we were talking about this and this, and he says, hey, look, I'm into business. I want to get into business of chicken. And he says, oh, by the way, I'm into chicken as well. When you get into that agreement, it's no longer lawyer and client. It's Ramarumo and Ndlazi. So there must be a distinction. Whether is it still using his authority and his persona as a legal person, or is it a private deal? You know, because if it's a private deal, the legal practice council is not going to get involved there.
I think the lines just became blurry, and this is the reason why I'm asking, because on the one hand, it's legal. There's legal advice that is coming off, but on the other hand, there's, I could say, like friendship, they definitely
Had a
blurred
relationship.
they definitely blurred.
You know, before you get a large sum of money, you get different advice from different people. And most people usually say, don't listen to what everyone else is saying. Get one person to help you with everything. Not have too many voices.
Yeah.
So, Mina, I think I made a very, 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 very crucial mistake of then relying on this one person for everything. So now, financial advice, it was him. Business advice, it was him. Legal advice, it was him.
And that
This
time
is
he's
the
not
one
even
person. So I
qualified.
thought, I'm safe. He won't lie to me or anything, because if I'm going to ask Alice about this, then I'm going to ask Kumo about this, then I'm going to ask Mr. Ramarumo about this. I'm going to get 3 different opinions, and they all have their own ideas. Maybe what if Alice wants to live her dreams through me, and what if Kumo is just trying her luck with it? So let me just use this one person. And Vere, I trust him, because I mean, he warned me about these things that I knew nothing about. So he must really, really care.
Well, I mean, it's spilled milk because we can't go back.
Yeah.
What we are doing here is for other people out there who are watching to say, be cognizant of these things.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, when money comes in, whether you have won it from the lotto, or whether you have won a huge contract, or whether you have had a payout like this, I will think the first people that I will talk to when it comes to money will be the bank.
Yeah.
You have a bank account at one of these banks, your bank manager is the right person to say. In fact, normally the bank manager will call you and says, we've seen $1 million. Is it your money? Yes. Do you know what to do with it? Come over.
Yeah.
Let's advise you.
Yeah.
You know, so if it was something like that, I would have thought anything that has to do with money, it will have to be the bank first. And then even before you do anything else, when the money is there, just say, put it in there, let me think about it. The money is safe in the bank. You can think about it for a month. You can think about it for 3 months. You can even think about it for 6 months before you finally make it. That's the problem.
Rush.
Yes. No, that's the vulnerable part. And that one, I wouldn't have any advice, because that is human nature.
Yeah.
But I
when money comes
up an
in,
account at Old Mutual.
Yes.
When I go before receiving the money, I had called them to set this up.
Yeah.
So there was always someone on standby for when the money comes in. So when the money came in, the financial advisor transferred a large sum of money for long term and for monthly.
Yes.
So monthly I would get a certain amount, and then the long term was just there for whenever I think of a business idea.
No. This guy played you. It's quite
plain
simple.
and simple.
Yeah, he used charm.
Yeah.
He used the trust that he has created. It actually shows this guy actually had a plan.
Yes.
From a long time ago.
Yeah.
You played along thinking, he's a brother who has my best interest at heart.
I mean, I've gone to family dinners, family
Yes,
guys,
no. And then those ones, they will always be there.
Yeah.
There will always be a guy who's looking for opportunities, and then is looking for vulnerable, people, and then he plays his charm. So, if I can advise anyone, in intuition, your sixth sense sometimes will be saying, this is too good to be true.
Listen to
And then if it says it's too good to be true,
probably is.
It is. But like in Sine's situation right now, what are the mistakes that, I mean, just in the spirit of, warning
Yeah.
our listeners or watchers out there.
Demand that whatever that you discuss with your attorney must be written. Whether it's a phone, follow it up with an email. And he must also confirm. Do you know why? Even if he uses a Gmail, it's not the law firm. You have proof that this person communicated and this is what he said. Like now, when you go to the LPC, you're going to take those emails.
Yes.
So each and every time when you communicate with your attorney, not only because of because you're thinking he might take advantage of you, for records purposes.
Yeah.
It might even happen that he loses the information because of one or the other reason. And then he says, hey, Sine, I've lost the information. It's like, no, I have. And then you can give him, he can then recreate that file and he continues with the matter. You know, the building at his office might burn. He might lose all of those. People can come and steal the information, you know, a laptop and all those
And then
things.
you will
He doesn't
have
have a backup. You will have the backup. You will be able to give him and says, no, by the way, now I have kept record. I have all of the illegal proceedings. When someone sues you and serves, and then now you say, Ramarumo is my attorney, and Ramarumo says, even if you can make him power of attorney, you tell him, it's your matter. You need to know where your matter is and where it's going. Each and every document that comes in, he must give it to you. You must demand it. You cannot say no. You tell him when the first day that you consult, okay, now that I'm giving you power of attorney, I just still need to know what's happening with my matter. So when you get a call me and tell me about it. When you get a letter, a court process, send it to me so that you can build your own file. So at least in that there is some measure of proof if anything bad happens. Now when you go into the Legal Practice Council, you are going to be able to give them that proof. Because without the proof, you won't get paid. From the day that you lodge, give it about 3 years.
Start making
Depending
other
on the information that they get. If they get all of the information immediately, they can process quickly. But sometimes they'll come back, we want this, we want this, we want this. You know, but I'm just saying, at the most, 3 or 4 years.
As long as eventually it's going to
Yeah,
happen.
and eventually we're going to get it.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Hey, mara 3 years turnaround time.
It's nothing. I was, my phone is off now. I would have shown you cases that are already in the system.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about consumption check. I'm talking about normal cases that are in the High Court, in the local division, Gauteng, which is the High Court in Johannesburg. I'm talking about only Johannesburg now. The High Court in Johannesburg. If you go and apply for a date today, as in like Monday, for a matter that is already in the system, that all of the summonses and all of those pleadings have been exchanged, everything is done, we are just waiting for a date. The earliest date that we'll get is end of 2028 to 2029.
Yo.
So if someone sues you now, don't think we're going to go tomorrow. The earliest date, I'm talking about a matter that is already in the system, not the one that you're going to start now. If you start suing today, in all likelihood, you'll have your matter heard in 2030.
Yo.
So that's the stamina that you must have. Don't think, I'm budget, next year, Dubai. No, Musu and live on with your life. But I was saying, oh, by the way, date it with, and then I'll tell you, I'll get.
And then that's a process on its own.
Yeah, because normally now the dates that I get from court are for matters that will go to November, December of this year. But that is matters that we've applied for a date in 2021.
But do you feel like that is like, in terms of the like efficiency in the legal system, something that maybe?
Well, I'm not going to talk.
Look,
the court is doing its best. It's always the same thing across everyone, organ of states. They'll tell you about we don't have capacity.
Yeah.
We don't have enough judges. We don't have enough registrars. We don't have enough court officials, and we have a lot of matters. And Gauteng is the hub of the country. The most cases are heard in this province. So you can imagine everyone else who's suing here. You must wait your turn.
Yeah.
So you can do that's why now we're doing what we call mediation.
Yeah.
We mediate to try not to go to court so that we can mediate and settle this matter now, tomorrow, and then settle it and then now apply to court for us to make a settlement agreement and order of court, which is within 6 weeks we can get a date. You know, rather than go to court and fight it out because it's costly and it's long. You know, and then if you don't have the money, if I have the money and you're suing me, I can out litigate you because I can make the process longer.
Yeah.
By the time your pockets are dry,
It's a-
child, and then you leave your case even if you have good case, but because you don't have the funds to pay us, you leave it on the way. So it's it takes long. Everything takes long, but ultimately, if you've started the process, don't throw in the towel. Ultimately, because not only you're not doing this for yourself, you're doing it for other people. Because if you don't act now, this person is going to continue to defraud other people.
Yeah.
So let's rather stop him now and get rid of them, take the bad apple out of the system.
Yeah.
And then, only the ones who are ethical.
Must
remain
remain.
the
So I think my last question would be to Sine, like if there's anything that you would want to say in terms of your lessons learned and what advice you would give someone who probably utulana lechelete any minute now, what would it be?
For me, I would say, first of all, don't rush anything. Wait. Wait until you are sure of what you want to do. And by being sure, you need to have done your research. Where I failed, I failed by allowing someone else to oversee everything in my life. I did not double check anything he said. I just trusted everything. I didn't do my own research. I essentially was lazy. I was lazy and vulnerable, and I thought I knew what I was getting myself into, but I didn't. And if I had just waited a little bit longer and left that money at Old Mutual until some time passed, I would have made better decisions. I would advise someone who's going to have a huge amount of money to wait. I know right now you think you know what you want. I know right now you think you have it all figured out, and it won't finish. It will finish. And if you do not do research about what you want to go into and and you need to know the right people. You need to ask the right questions by the right people. Sometimes you can ask the right questions, but you're just asking the wrong person. Like if I have to ask him to check my appendix now, it doesn't make. Now I know that. I wish I had known that then. Then I wouldn't have made such horrible decisions by trusting someone. And also another thing is, don't be afraid to speak out. Don't be afraid to speak your mind. Because sometimes for me, it would be hard to question something that he would say to me that I did not understand, didn't make sense. But I thought, he's older than me. I should be respectful. And let me just not offend him. I'm sure it's the right thing. Maybe I'm the one who just doesn't understand. But if I felt like that, why didn't I ask someone else? Why didn't I go on Google? Why didn't I failed. I failed at that, and unfortunately I can't go back and fix it. But if I can help someone else not go through it, it's not just financially stressful, but also emotionally stressful. The process I'm going through trying to get back money that is mine is so hard and it's so draining. But I will not give up. And to people out there, if you're going through something that I have, you have received money and you went through something like this, do not give up. It does get better. It doesn't feel like it now, but it does. And when you have people to help you and advise you, you can get through anything. I did the best I could for my family, and I'm trying to raise my daughter. So I'm gonna go through this fight, and I've learned from the mistakes that I made, which is lack of knowledge. Not doing my research. Not asking enough questions or the right questions by the right people. So that is what I've learned, and I am gonna get through this with my family.
Definitely are.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Sine.
Thank you. Thank you. Because even though I did make some bad mistakes, horrible mistakes, I received the money when I was 23. And I thought I knew it. I had gotten advice over the years from people before receiving them, and I thought I have it all figured out. And as much as I messed up some of that money, blew some of that money, but I also did some really good things. I built at home. My dad learned how to drive at 45, and I was able to do things for my brothers, both parents, my grandparents. I was able to learn how to drive, and also just for once just feel, and I took myself to things that I had never gone to. I went on a boat. I went for pap smears. I went to the dentist. I took myself for massages. Things were easier, and if I needed to do something was needed at home, I would be able to do that, and it felt really good to take my brothers out and say, you know what, take whatever you want. Then they would grab bicycles, and I want to grab this, and I want to grab that. And getting home, and the fridge is full of food, the cupboards are full, and everyone is just, those are things that nobody can ever take away from me. Yeah. And I will do everything I can to try and get that back. Yeah. It won't be the same as before, because it will be millions now. But if I could just get the full fridge and the full cupboards back, I'd be grateful.
Sure.
So, with time.
With
Advocate, thank you so much for honoring us for honoring our invite and coming through and sharing this information with us. At least we know now that Sine stands 100% a chance of getting her money back after 10 years. Nonetheless, she will. And I think just the general guidance that you've provided today in terms of what to look out for, truly, truly appreciate that. And Sine, thank you for coming through and sharing your story with us and allowing yourself to being vulnerable in this situation. And I know it's not easy, but you did it, and I'm really wishing you all the best, man. Thank you. I really am.
1, 2,